renewed calls to end Spain's blasphemy laws. So this is a little bit of older news, but I just learned about this past week, and so I wanted to cover it because I'm a nerd about these kind of things, and I want to make an important point. So in February 2021, the Justice Commission of the Spanish Senate brought forth a motion calling on the government to revoke Article 525 of the Penal Code. Article 525 acts as a de facto blasphemy law, penalizing offenders with a fine of up to 12 months of their salary. And I was like, what does that mean? I looked it up. They can take 8 to 12 months of your salary. That's the punishment. I thought that was crazy. Anyways, the motion received cross-party support, excluding the People's Party and the Citizens Party, who voted against it. Moves to repeal blasphemy have long been debated in Parliament for years. The Spanish Congress of Deputies voted 180 to 166 to abolish penalties for blasphemy in October 2018. More than 100 academics, writers, and activists signed an open letter asking for the abolition of blasphemy in December 2020. In addition, in February 2021, when international condemnation followed after the conviction of Catalan rapper Pablo Hasél, the government declared that it would amend sentences for laws restricting freedom of expression, including its blasphemy law. Go ahead.
So if they won all these votes in Congress of Deputies and other places, what has to happen for it to actually be repealed if it appears that, they've got the numbers?
To be honest, I have
the king.
No idea.
I mean, Spain still has a king, but I don't think he runs the country or anything.
To be fully transparent, I don't know how Spanish law works.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rivka, I cannot answer your question. If anyone here happens to understand the laws,
that's why
Spain,
I'm at.
Please answer my question.
Yeah, that's sort of why I put it out there. Like, how? So, what happens now? Do they have to? Does it have to be legislated somehow? They have to rewrite a law saying, this law doesn't. It's interesting. The End Blasphemy Coalition says welcomes the state's decision to review. So, okay, here's what's going on. Once all this went on, now they're reviewing it, urging the authorities to repeal it outright, right? Rather than, I guess they have to just put forth a motion amongst themselves and then vote on it as an entire body.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, if you're a fan of blasphemy and sexy Kali, like me, then that means that you probably want more blasphemous art. Well, I have good news for you. If you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below, then you get a free booklet of some of the tastiest blasphemous art available today. So, if you want some of this delicious blasphemy, and we're so generous that we update it for you guys weekly for free, all you have to do is sign up for our newsletter below. You can also go to blasphemousart.com/ebook. That's blasphemousart.com/ebook. Sign up with your email, and you get free gifts of this tasty blasphemy. What could be better? So make sure you sign up. Link below.
But I wanted to highlight this for a few reasons. So, one, I think it's a good reminder to everyone that there are fully what we'd call like developed nations, first world, Western European nations that still have active blasphemy laws or laws that are de facto serve as blasphemy laws. And it's really important that these countries, such as Spain, repeal these laws. One, because of the 2/3 of the countries in the world that have blasphemy laws on the books, I can't remember exactly, but roughly half, or like 41%, don't actually enforce those laws. And so it's important for countries like these to take steps forward to repeal blasphemy laws, because them having it on the books, even if it hasn't been enforced in decades, sometimes even hundreds of years, it validates them in these types of laws, this type of legislative and potential for prosecution, it validates it in countries where it is a much more high stakes environment. It is a much more serious charge, and the fervor around it is much more dangerous. It gives legitimacy to laws like this in other countries where it comes at the cost of people's lives. Also, it's just a matter of free expression. So at the end, I brought up one of the things that prompted this review in February was the situation involving this Catalan rapper. And, you know, the whole Catalan like conflict isn't something I want to get into right now. But he actually didn't violate a blasphemy law, but he was arrested for I don't know how to say, but like lèse majesté, like basically like insulting the crown, which sometimes people consider a form of blasphemy. You're like blaspheming authority. And he was charged and faced a sentence for this. There was huge backlash to this. And so even though it wasn't strictly blasphemy, that's what prompted people to go, let's go back and look at all of the laws that restrict freedom of expression in this country. Let's see how we can improve across the board. And I really liked that attitude. And I think it's really important to not see like insult to authority versus just religion in general, like separate. No, this is all together in violation of international law regarding free expression. So yay, Spain. I'm loving this forward motion. And let's be a role model.
I think that's a really salient point to make, to talk about, you know, being free from undue authority from the government and religion is and linking them like that, because that's part of what led to the idea of free expression and having those freedoms to say is the Enlightenment. And a lot of that was throwing off the religious authority, but also not allowing the state to function in the same way in terms of restricting what you can say or expressions that of, you know, your beliefs, for example, getting married to someone of the same sex. So I think it's very good, and good job, good commentary, Suzanne.
Oh, thank you. Can you tell I read and think about this a lot? Katie is saying, wait, blasphemous art against the Spanish crown and the Spanish Inquisition? That would be pretty good, actually. The situation of this rapper is very interesting because he's like a far leftist. And so they basically try for Catalan independence. So they basically tried to say that he was like inciting or glorifying terrorism. I'm using coded language for YouTube, but people took a big issue with that because they're saying this is his political expression. Like, you can't just say that because he's for independence.
Just say radical movements.
Okay.
Because a lot of people might get confused when we say terrorism, and we don't want to explain it every time. Just say like radical movements or something.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. By the way, my standard response to this is like,
I already know. Should I say what it is? Spain has a blasphemy law. This is 2020. Right. This is a Western European nation. Why did they have a blasphemy law? And this time I'm with you there.
Yeah, no, like people are like, oh, yay, progress. I'm like, wait, they still have blasphemy laws in Europe?
Actually, like, this is bad news because this hasn't happened yet, Susanna.
Hey guys, YouTube has fully demonetized our channel for supposedly hateful and harmful conduct without telling us what we did wrong. If we get to 1,000 patrons, we will be able to keep paying all our team, our editors, our artists without ever having to worry about monetization again, which would be amazing. Yay! So please support Atheist Republic on Patreon. Link in the description below.